Good. Well, here we are, episode 2 of Studio Life, the offshoot, or I guess what will become, well, the alongside is it Sean, over to you.
Welcome back to Studio Life. So this week, what news have we got, Dan? What's been happening?
There's been loads of stuff happening. It's been a mental week news-wise, and Sean's going to just start us off with some news.
Well, let's go straight into plugin news. Okay, so the big story, which luckily we didn't go too soon on this because it's played out over the last week.
It has, yeah.
Waze announced that they are moving to a subscription-only model, and the internet went mad.
Yeah, very popular, turns out. Really good idea, Waves. Everybody loves it, don't they?
Not so much.
Not so much.
There were some pretty angry reactions going on in those first few days. And why do you think there was anger, Dan?
Well,
what's your take on it?
Because you don't ever own anything.
Do you ever own anything anyway?
Well, true that. What's the main complaint moving to the subscription only model then?
Mainly that you have to keep paying for plugins you've already bought. They were basically saying even if you've bought perpetual licenses, eventually when they run out, you do have to then pay a subscription to keep those plugins. And I understand a company has a right to decide how they charge for their products. But when you have bought something that you think you own forever, to then be told, well, no, you don't, you got to start paying us monthly, it stings a bit. And a lot of people have been with Waze for a long time.
Yeah.
And it just feels like that was a bit of a kick.
Yeah, I get. The thing is, though, plugin companies and people are looking for new ways to make money, aren't they, to develop products? And I get, it's similar to the pharmaceutical game, isn't it? People say that drugs shouldn't be so much money, but drugs have to be developed.
Exactly. They need continual income to develop new products and update the ones they make. So I'm going
to play a bit of devil's advocate, and I'm going to say, well, look, this is one of the biggest plugin manufacturers. They've actually been pioneers in the plugin game, and they're working on a new model to make it work for them. And it's not going to be popular for long, but I guarantee it, in a year, I think most things will be like this. Everything else, your telly, everything is subscription now. Everything is subscription.
It's true. If you look at your list of direct debits, it's really quite depressing.
There you go. But YouTube.
Yeah, I know. Everything's the same. However, this was so unpopular that Waves, a few days later, backed down.
I didn't know that.
So what they've said now is that if you have a perpetual license, you can keep it.
Well, I get that. If you've already bought it, to then say that you got to rent.
But there is still another sort of sting in the tail with Waves perpetual licenses. In the Waves update plan has been much discussed online for years, because even when you've got a perpetual license, when they bring out an update because they no longer work with your operating system, which you do have to update every few years, they charge you for the new version. They charge you to update it, and those update charges, some people I know have spent thousands updating plugins they've already bought.
Wow.
Yeah. And that that's a kicker when that happens to you for years, and then you get told you've got to pay a subscription to keep them.
Well, fortunately, there's loads of plugins that are better than Waves, I think. There was a long time where they were like the...
Oh, yeah, that was it.
Well, even it was, the collections were called some obscure...
Gold and platinum, diamond collection, mercury collection.
That's right, yeah.
I had loads of them over the years.
No, that's it. And so I think, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. That you look at the stuff that's out there now. It'd be interesting to see, wouldn't it? What I would have done if I was Waves, I'd have come up with something amazing, mega, like a new plugin, something that's like, we're Waves. Look at us, we're still pioneers.
Yep.
But at the same time, we're going to go subscription, and but there's just nothing exciting, is there? I think there are other options out there.
There are other options, and that's kind of why we started.
I don't own a single Waves plugin.
Reviews.
I don't own a single Waves plugin.
Well,
we did there was the R-Base, the R-Vox. These were reasonable, but
no, there's a lot of options out there now, and obviously the other show we do has been a lot about finding new options for plugins these days. There are better things sometimes that you can find, sometimes cheaper, sometimes free. So,
we looked at the Analog Obsession stuff. Not that that's better.
No, but it's quality-wise, it's right up there.
Yeah.
And if more people do that, more people, get involved with these smaller developers, before you know it, there'll be many options, and some of them will just be better.
Yeah.
So the Waves thing, not a good move by them. It's good that they've backtracked, I think. But yeah, if you really want to see some amusing videos, there's loads online of people really freaking out.
Don't watch ours. Really freaking out, is there?
Oh God, yeah, people are angry.
Yeah,
proper angry. I mean, I don't.
Gosh, sound engineers can moan though.
I don't get that angry about anything.
No, you don't actually. You're not. I don't think I've ever actually seen you properly angry, have I? Life's
too short, Dan. I've only got angry 4 or 5 times in my whole life.
It's not often Short and Dan come in that sentence, is it? No. Anyway, so good, great. That was plug-in news,
which moves us swiftly on.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't. But anyway, we're going to move swiftly on to Retro Talk. Okay, so Retro Talk is our regular feature where we talk about bits of gear that we miss, that we used to use back in the day when we were starting out, maybe, or maybe just things we've moved on from, but things we miss and maybe we wish we could use them again. Where are you going this time, Dan?
I'm going to go with selling my decks, my 1210s.
Oh, fatal.
Yeah, Technics DJ, whatever it was, M900, 2-channel scratch champion.
I didn't know
mixer.
You sold your decks.
Yeah.
How long ago?
They were a long time, probably 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I still got all my records. I can't bring myself to get rid of the records, but but I regret selling them. And I've tried to buy some again, but you can't justify spending.
No, they're so expensive.
Yeah.
Well, I sold one a long time ago and kept one SL1200. I thought that's just going to be good to have. If everyone want to sample a final, I can sample it off of that. That would be great. And again, I think 9 or 10 years ago, it was like they were going for such silly money. I sold it. And then literally 6 months later, everyone started buying vinyl again. Oh, God. I don't want to spend that money buying it back.
I bought like you. I've got a single record deck, direct drive, one of these Audio Technica things, which is great. But yeah, there was just something about, again, it's like that. I found that old Mac, didn't I? I sent you the picture, and it's like, God, if those decks could talk, I'd want them to shut up.
That was one of the funniest texts I've had in a while. He sent me a picture of his old laptop and says, if this laptop could talk, I'd want it to shut up. And I said, yes, you would.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go with something a little bit more geeky.
That's not like you.
It's not like me, I know. I'm going to go with the Korg SDD 3000, which was a digital delay, 1U rack with a filter. I bought it quite late in the day. I was already working on hard disk recording. I wasn't working in the box as such on a computer. I had a hard disk recorder, and this was my delay running through an analog desk, and it was just so cool for all that sort of cool delay stuff that I like to do.
Yeah,
it was the best thing, and the filters on it were amazing.
Can you get them now?
I see them on eBay going for silly money, and every now and again, if I've had a drink, I think I'll get it, and then obviously. That makes no sense working in the box. You know, I do have a hybrid system, but I don't want to go out of the box for a delay. That's just asking for trouble. So I do miss it though. It was good. It had a really good sound. And I've seen that they've started making a pedal version of it, a modern version of it in like a stomp pedal, which again, I get tempted, but actually, no.
You do miss the kind of the tactile.
It is the tactile. Like it's messing with the resonance and the feedback while it's going on.
That's it.
We can do that with automation now, but it just felt more hands-on.
It's totally different.
Yeah,
the automation stuff.
Yeah. Well, you sit there listening to a mix in the old days, and you just fiddle with it and go, I've found something cool. I'll do that again, and I'll print that, and miss that. So there you go. The SDD 3000
retro gear.
Okay, so next we're going on to today's hot topic.
Hot topic.
It's hot topic. Today's hot topic. We're gonna go deep. How deep? Well, I don't know. I guess we'll just see how deep it goes.
So, this week we're gonna look at business talk. What do we charge? What should we charge? Does what people charge affect your perception of how good their service is? So let's boil this down into something that's easy to come up with an opinion about.
Yeah.
You're sending a track out for mastering.
Yep.
And there's 3 mastering places you find online. One of them is charging 40 quid a track.
Yep.
One of them is charging 100 quid a track.
Yep.
The other place is doing it for a £5. What are you expecting? What are you expecting those different price levels to give you?
I would expect the Fiverr one to be run through an AI sort of ozone-y, spread, squash, loud back. Yep. I'd expect the second one to be done by somebody, but not to have any communication. You just get your track sent back. Yep. That's that. And for the most expensive version, I'd want the opportunity to just talk to the engineer and discuss.
And would you expect him to be in the box or analog, or does it matter?
To me, it doesn't matter. What matters to me is the results.
100%. Yeah.
So I like all of this out of the the out of the box stuff, and it's but if I can't hear it, if I'm not there, if I'm sending a track off to be, we used to cut records in Abbey Road, right? If you go into Abbey Road and you're paying for it to cut records, you want to see a bloke earning his money.
100% you do, yeah.
If I'm paying £100 to send a track to somebody, they can do what they want as long as what comes back is the desired result.
Definitely.
What about you?
Well, it's.
I owe you that £5, don't I?
Many fivers. I think I've been wrong-footed by this in the past, and that I've definitely paid top money for top mastering, and sometimes I've been underwhelmed. But I forget sometimes they're not doing what the cheaper guys do. A lot of the cheaper guys are slamming it. They're just getting you volume because they think that's what you want.
Yeah.
Whereas I've worked with some top mastering engineers, and the stuff they send back sometimes isn't much different from my mix, and that shouldn't wind me up. That should be a compliment. That they're saying your mix was pretty bang on. I haven't had to do much.
Yeah.
So I think I've learned that sometimes less is more. But also, I saw a thing on YouTube recently where they'd done a test like this. They'd sent the same track out to a bunch of people, and the cheapest one on a blind test won.
Yeah.
And I think that was the loudness thing.
I agree. But and the other place that, because again, working in predominantly electronic music, especially when you're releasing music that's going to be played in a club or played by a DJ, you want your track needs to be as loud and as big as the track that's played before and after it, if preferably bigger.
Yeah, and I think the issue that's happened now is that works in that situation, but if you upload a crazy loud master to Spotify, by the time they've processed it, it could come out sounding less impressive than the track before it. So it's more complicated now, and there's so many more people doing mastering, and so many of them are doing the obvious. They're just slamming it and making it as wide as possible.
So are we talking about mastering specifically, or
no? I mean anything. If you book a mix, it's the same.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about day rates as a sound engineer, as a live sound engineer, say. So if you're, depending on what level of band you are, if you're employed, if you're paid £400 a day as a live sound engineer, you need to be going in there. Rehearsals, your job is, if you're on £400 a day for 2 months, your job is more involved than if you're being brought in £150 a day.
Oh, 100%.
If I was on a proper gig being paid £400 a day, you'd get a lot more out of me.
Yeah. Well, that's, I've done that. I've done tours at that level, and you are responsible for everything audio. If the PA's hung wrong, even though there's a systems guy doing it, it's your job to suss that, put it right. You are expected to make everything perfect on the audio front. And you should. At that level, that's what you should be doing. And in a studio, it's slightly different, because if you're paying a studio to mix your track or record your track, how much of that fee is paying for the studio, for the rent and for the gear, and how much of it is going to the engineer? I like, there's certain studios I like working at where they charge you for the studio and then they will bung you a free assistant.
Yeah.
They're paying him, you're not paying him, really. And if you want a fully fledged engineer who's going to do it all for you, you can have one, but you have to pay that on top.
Yeah.
And that will probably be almost as much as the studio. But sometimes you need that.
Yeah. So what, the assistant just can't, so if you book a big studio, you get an assistant that comes with it, and that you can basically say they can operate the studio.
Yeah, so what in my situation, I'll run the board, but I'll say, can you insert this on there? Can you set up that mic there?
Yeah.
I'll have a tea with no sugar. It's all of that. It's the whole thing. They look after you. They make the session happen.
Yeah.
You sit at the board. You do the mix. Whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll do everything that you don't want to do, basically. And they'll be at a level of experience where they know their mic cupboard. They know what's in it. They know what preamps are going to sound good.
That's what you're paying for, isn't it?
That's
really?
what you're paying for.
The knowledge. They know
their knowledge.
Where the mic cupboard is.
Exactly that.
Ah, there we go. Interesting. Interesting stuff.
But did we get an answer?
No, because I think it's very difficult. And again, coming into as a teacher, you know, that doing some of these the session stuff I've been doing.
Yep.
You know, and with music, playing in a band. In fact, I'm going to go with the playing in the band.
Okay.
Used to run a function band, 6-piece band, engineer,
I
DJ. Awful. Well, the band was great, but it was horrible. Anyway, so we used to go and do, obviously, Friday, Saturday nights, functions, you know, birthdays, weddings, bar mitzvahs, you name it. And occasionally, or regularly, used to get the, oh God, I know how much you lot are getting paid. We did it. It was a commercial exercise. You don't go out and play midnight hour and what have you for fun, do you? We know how much you lot getting paid. God, you're raking it in. And the answer, my response was always the same. Okay, you go and get 8 plumbers to come down here and spend 6 hours, you know, get them to load in at 4 o'clock and then not play till 9.
Yep.
See how much you pay those plumbers.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's often this thing, isn't there, that entertainment. If you know someone in a band, oh, you'll come and play for us, or, you know, if you're a sound engineer, oh, you can go and help out. And it's like, hang on, this is my job.
Yeah.
I charge per hour, per day, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's like...
That was the other one with the band. I've got a brother still plays commercially. It covers, you know, it'd be great exposure. I don't need exposure. This is my job. You know, what you pay me pays for the exposure. I do my own exposure, thanks. I don't need you. Yeah, you know. Yeah. Do you know what? I find it annoys me.
I can tell you've suddenly got angry then.
Yeah, I did.
You've gone red.
It's
Yeah. No, I get it entirely, and it's that exposure thing. I mean, wow, I think we've all had that one thrust at us at some point. This will be good for you.
Yeah,
this will be good for your career.
Pay to play. Do you remember? I don't know if that's still a thing, but Jesus, you get into town, you have to go and pay to play.
100%. Bands I was in when I was a teenager, pay to play was a thing.
Yeah,
turning up, if you don't know, to a venue, giving them money to let you play in it.
Yeah,
bit weird. I mean, fair enough if you don't bring anyone with you, but if you're bringing an audience, they should be paying you.
Yeah, you'd think.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, Anyway,
that was another edition of Studio Life. And what do we need to remind everyone to do, Dan?
We need to remind everyone to click subscribe on the channel.
Do that, and also click on the notifications, then you know when we're putting out another video.
If you could donate some money to Patreon, that'd keep us going.
That would be really nice. And also we have an Instagram now, where it's Studio Life 101.
And that links straight through to the website, where there's all sorts of other interesting things that you can engage with.
Yeah, there's merch, and you can book things, you can book us, you can do all kinds of interesting stuff. Anyway, that's it for now. We will see you next time.
Rock on.